a good time?
Yeah!
Awesome. We have a pile of chairs back here. What?
Fine.
Yeah,
So you can put your feet up.
What is that?
It's a contract.
Oh no. What is this contract? Contract?
Read it out loud.
Read it out
Read it out loud.
Contract.
Here.
I don't know if I want to sign this.
Read it out loud. What's
It says, okay, this is a contract to Adrian Agrest. It says, to Adrian, it says, this contract officially states that Adrian Agrest shall be the permanent boyfriend of Chloe Bourgeois. Not Marinette Dupanchain. The breaching of this contract will result in a $10,000 fine. Adrian has plenty of money. And complaints to Daddy. Please sign in the space below. Love, Chloe. Wow. And a pen? I can't sign on behalf of Adrian.
I was Chloe yesterday.
You were waiting for this moment. So the lady.
Do it! No, he's got it.
Hold on, I think we need Ladybug to chime in on this.
Ladybug?
Don't sign it, Adrian! Don't sign it! Why would you care? You're a ladybug. It's just not good for him to be forced to do that.
I second that. I second that.
I'm just gonna strike the things I don't like if you don't mind.
Alright.
I have to sign it as Adrian though. I feel like Adrian's signature is much more beautiful than my signature. Like my signature is a giant B. I just bash my name in everyone's stuff. B. It's here.
The blood
But I feel like, yeah, B. I feel like Adrian's would be very flowing and just beautiful.
Yes.
And I don't know if I'm the right person to create that signature.
Is there a calligrapher in the house?
Yeah.
That'll work.
Does anyone know? Do you know calligraphy?
I got a set and I've never used it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
My handwriting is just scribble, like my dad's.
Well, I'm signing on behalf of Adrian. There you are. Here's your pen. Your pen.
Okay, whose pen was this?
It was not.
Be sure to send Adrian the bill depending on how the rest of season 2 goes.
That is true. That is true.
So
Marinette gets involved, she's getting the bill.
there we go. So I'm Bryce Papenbrook, if you guys didn't know. I think a good way to kind of start these panels is to tell you how I got here. So my dad was a voice actor. He was working on Power Rangers. Have you guys heard of that show?
Which one?
Yeah. So he played Rito Revolto, the skeleton dude on Power Rangers, and a lot of the monsters. So I was about 8 years old, and I used to love to go into work with my dad because they had all the like rubber monster suits like lining the stairs up into the booth. So this one particular day, the director's like, "We need a kid's voice," and my dad's like, "He's a kid, throw him in the booth!" And I became a voice actor. Yay, child labor!
That's like the best way to You are a child, go.
I never imagined that, you know, growing up in a family of actors, I didn't imagine that I would become one myself. I actually went to UCLA and studied political science and philosophy. Thought law school was the next step, and then I booked a job. And then I booked another one, and booked another one, and I thought, you know what, the law library can wait, I'm going to make funny voices in the booth. And I haven't looked back. So yeah, that's how I got here. It is a super competitive industry, but I feel like I have won the anime and video game lottery time and time again. So you guys might know me as Eren Yeager in Attack on Titan, Kirito in Sword Art Online,
Hope Bagel. Henry.
Henry in Fire Emblem,
Hope Bagel.
in Seven Deadly Sins, Noir.
Oh, yeah!
And Wikipedia definitely knows better than I do.
Don't forget the disappointing children of Danganronpa.
That's very true.
My disappointing students.
At least one disappointing student.
Which one?
Well, I mean, it depends on who you are in the show. I think Naegi isn't too disappointing. He does a good job in my mind. Nagito.
He won.
in one, true.
He won.
Oh.
He's a disappointment.
To Monokuma, yes.
Yes. Kamina got corrupted.
That's true. Very
He was
true.
already corrupt.
So, on this panel, we can
that's
kind of chat about whatever you guys want to talk about. I can kind of open it up to questions and see where it goes. Yeah.
Okay. I asked you, as you know, about Code Lyoko, and I want to think, do you think Miraculous, in terms of how it's being popular and just stuff, do you think it might be the next Code Lyoko?
I mean, it could be. I just remember, like, what I remember of Code Lyoko is that it was really cool for the time that it was released.
Yeah.
And I think Miraculous does have some similarities. It is amazing to see how Miraculous has grown and how passionate the community is.
It is.
It won a Teen Choice Award.
I know.
Whoa.
Yes, that was
Against
crazy.
shows like Rick and Morty, Bob's Burgers, The Simpsons. Like, when we got nominated, we were so excited. We're like, this is so cool to be in the same category as all these great shows.
All these great adult shows.
And we wrote it off like, but there's no way we even stand a chance against them. And I don't think anyone thought we stood a chance because they didn't even invite us to the award show. No.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, that would have been fun to
They
get
didn't
an
even
invite.
show they not win, so that's fine.
That's true.
It was
That's
wasting my
true.
time anyhow, like
So-
the ceremony.
So we weren't even invited to the award show, and then like when we won, like my social media just exploded. I'm like, well, that's a different, that's different.
Yeah.
No Miraculous community. So thank you guys, anyone who voted. That's amazing.
Me.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And I mentioned to a few people, I just wrapped season 2 last week. And the last 2 yay, we're up season 2.
Finally, maybe hopefully on time airing on Netflix.
That's not up to me.
I hope so.
That is not up to me.
I know.
I just want to see Adrian's mom alive. I'm
Can't
pretty sure
guarantee
Hawk
anything.
does too.
Yeah.
So, for you guys who don't know how the sort of process works, I'm just one cog in this giant machine that is the creation of these shows. Especially shows that are created outside of the US. And there's a few different kinds of ways we record. So for anything that is Japanese anime or something that's produced in France, the animation is already done before the actors get into the booth.
Oh.
So that means I'm actually watching the show and talking as my character's talking on the screen, and my goal is to make it not look like Godzilla. Like, you don't want that. Hi. Like, the goal is to fit the flaps and fit the words into their mouth. And that takes quite a bit of work. What typically happens in anime, they receive the original show from Japan, then they translate the show, then they time code the show. What that means is they put these numbers on the screen and they mark every time every character talks. And they mark the start of it. And they mark it down to like a frame, okay? So you know exactly when they start talking. Then they have someone who takes the adaptation and they adapt the show. Well, it takes the translation and they adapt the show to English so it fits the mouth flaps. Then they bring the actors in. So there's a lot that goes into it before we get into the booth. Then because we're hitting sync, every actor has to come in one by one and go line by line. So a lot of the times that I'm recording shows like Attack on Titan, Sword Art, Miraculous Ladybug, I'm the first one in the booth, and that means I don't hear the performances of the other actors. So I have to kind of imagine how they're going to perform. So then we go line by line. There's an engineer that can slide it one frame back, one frame forward to try to get it fit just perfect. Then another engineer goes and mixes it all together, makes it sound perfect, and then it's released. So there's a huge team that goes into making these shows sound good and work. So I'm just one cog in that giant team.
That's why it takes so long.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's worth it.
It
And
is.
Miraculous is really interesting because adapting from French versus Japanese is just kind of different. There's like a different culture. So they use this thing called a rhythmo band. Has anyone heard of a rhythmo band?
No. No.
So what a rhythmo band is, on the bottom of the screen when we're recording, there's this big yellow part with a red line in the center, and all the characters' lines written on it, and they kind of slide this way, and when they hit the red line, you're supposed to say them. It's like dubbing karaoke.
Oh, I think I saw it now. I think I saw it during the behind-the-scenes filming they did of the dubbing of Oban stories. They had that same kind of.
Yeah, it was popular in Canada for a little while and popular in France. It's not really common in the U.S., but they use it while recording Miraculous Ladybug, and it's really challenging and tough to get used to. But now that I've been part of the show for so long, it's kind of just what happens.
Now I am curious, because now I'm not sure if you'd know this or not, but because it is 3D animation instead of 2D animation,
yeah,
it's a lot. I imagine the 3D is a lot more easily editable by models and stuff. Once you do the voice stuff, do they match lip flaps of the models too?
No.
Or no, really?
No, it is a dub. So it is the team that spends so much time really making the words fit into the mouth. So our goal is to make you not even know that we're doing that. And if we do our job well, you won't.
Well,
so
now we do.
I think also adapting from French into English is easier than Japanese because it's closer. It's a closer language.
True.
You know, so the mouth flaps are very similar versus Japanese. You get all these weird shaped mouths, and sometimes there is nothing you can do.
But that's gotta be weird because you've been used to that for years, though. So doing it in French has got to be so strange.
It's the same process actually.
Really?
It's the same. There's a little bit different of a cadence.
Mm.
So sometimes and it drives me crazy. Sometimes I have to deliver the line like super fast, and then I have to say it, and then slow down a little bit. It's not ideal, but
Yeah.
sometimes you have to do that. Hopefully you don't notice it very much. Yeah, what's up?
Okay, so can also as a Koyo fan, do you see any similarities of Cat Noir's personality, kind of the same as Odd's?
You know, I have to go back and watch Code Lyoko because it's been quite a while since I've seen the show.
Well, I can tell you personally, I kind of see that.
I wonder, you know, that's a great question for the creators of Miraculous, if they were inspired by the show at all. And I'm not sure if
Well,
Code
Thomas
Lyoko
used
was...
to actually work for the show. He was a part of it.
Well, there you go. Probably was. Okay, I'm going to go 1, 2, and then 3 back there. So yes, lady.
Out of all the roles you've played, which one has been your favorite? And what's the favorite scene from that favorite character?
So, I get this question a lot, like, who's your favorite character? Like, how can I pick? I've been so fortunate to be part of so many great shows, and just to give you an idea of how difficult it is to get this work, I tell people if you book 1 out of 100 auditions, you're doing extremely well. Really, only one person can get cast in these roles, and you're competing against, you know, initially, everyone who wants the part, then it narrows down, and then it narrows down even further. So like, for Miraculous Ladybug, I actually auditioned 4 times for Adrian.
Whoa.
The first time I auditioned, they sent me a response saying, could you adjust it in this way? I did it. Then they said, adjust it a little more. Then they called me in to record again with the creator with Jeremy Zag in the room.
Thomas Anxious.
Thomas wasn't there. He was,
Oh.
I don't know if I've met Thomas. He was on once they cast us, he was on a Skype call watching us record, which was really fun. But so it was very, very, you know, tough competition trying to get cast, and it's like that for every single show. So I'm just thankful for the work that I've had, and I've been really fortunate that my characters seem not to die.
That's good.
To quote one of my characters, people die when they are killed. But not my characters. They don't seem to. So I'm really fortunate to have fallen into the roles that I have, and it's with all different studios, all different casting directors. So I don't know how it happened or why it happened, but I'm just glad it has. So I can't pick a favorite. They all become like your children, and my children live inside my head, and they're all insane and yelling, and I don't want to make them angry.
Well, what's one of your favorite lines from a character?
Wow, I usually answer this question with like a million responses. I mean, okay, I'll just do a couple lines.
Go in.
So like Kirito, this is the one that I always use to get back into character. If I die in the game, I die in real life. But in season 2, who's seen season 2 of Sword Art Online?
Not me.
Okay, most of you guys haven't. This is gonna tease you to go and watch it. Kirito is a little more feminine in season 2. And what I used to do in middle school, I was this guy. I used to prank call girls in my class as their female friends. So I always hoped I could do that professionally, and that was my opportunity. The director of Sword Art Online, his name is Alex Von David, and I was working on another show, and I walked by him in the studio, and I'm like, hey, what are you guys working on? And he's like, I'm working on the show Monica Magica, and it's a magical girl show that's really dark and awesome. Have you guys seen Monica? Such a good show. And he's like, so it's a magical girl show. I'm like, I want to be a magical girl. And the producer was standing right next to him, and he looks over at her, and she goes, So I was not allowed to be a magical girl until Kirito in season 2. And one of my favorite moments, he's walking through this one area where there's all these grungy gamers with guns, and he has a female avatar, and he goes, hey guys, hope y'all root for me! And it's pink and sparkles and it's beautiful! I met the Japanese actor who plays Kirito. His name is Mr. Matsuoka. He was just at Anime Expo in July in Los Angeles. And Shermie and I were able to MC the SAO panel. And he was on the panel, and at one point during the panel, I challenged him to a female Kirito off. And I have a 3-year-old daughter, and I knew this was coming, so I swiped one of her like magical wands, and I hid it on stage. He had no idea. So like when that moment came up, I pulled out the wand and like lit it up and just like, hope y'all root for me. I like presented it to him on stage. It was magical. So, see, I can answer this question for quite a while. Now, that was one character. I'll give you one more line from Aaron. There's a moment. Okay, who's seen Attack on Titan? Okay, actually, this is a better question. Who has not seen Attack on Titan? Okay. I'm going to try not to spoil this. This is season 1.
That's alright, I'm not a big fan of it.
It's not for everyone, it's a little dark.
Yeah.
You'll see.
I've seen a little episode.
So, in Attack on Titan, I play itty bitty Eren, I play angsty teenage Eren, and I play bigger Eren. Without spoiling anything. So, at this one moment where he's bigger Eren, there's this little baby Titan, and he punts him. And then there's this other Titan, he's like stepping on his neck, and he goes, get up, let me kill you again, and again, and again!
He needs therapy.
It's really fun.
He needs therapy.
He's angry.
He has anger problems.
Yes. So there's some really good moments. I've been really fortunate to have some amazing lines. Okay, I'll give you one more, just because this one we were laughing about. This is from, you want my Okumura line?
Yes.
Okay, Rin, and then this one. Sorry, I'm gonna cuss. Rin cusses, it's not me.
That's alright.
My favorite line is Rin Okumura is,
I'm
gonna beat the shit out of Satan! Yes!
Well, my phone died, so that's alright.
And Broken Fun. So the other one I was thinking of that's really, really fun, who's seen The 7 Deadly Sins? Awesome. So I play a character named Meliodas. He's like this 5,000-year-old overpowered pervert who's about this tall. So there's this one moment where he's like under Elizabeth's skirt, and
He's
In
mean.
the Japanese,
Oh,
it sounds like he's speaking in full voice, and he says something like, "This'll make it better." Well, what I did, because he's under her skirt, is this. "This'll make it better." And they use that one. Good times. Yes, what was your question?
Okay, so this is a Danganronpa related question.
Awesome, let's
We
do
haven't
it.
mentioned that. So what's your favorite and least favorite character in any of the Danganronpa? Besides your character, because Nagito Kamada is trash.
He is trash, but I like him. He's
I
so
mean,
fun to
we
play.
got a we didn't have a Kamada for a Danganronpa panel that we have in the Metagora at 6.
Yeah.
So someone just brought a body pillow.
The body pillow stood in.
It'll probably be better than the actual thing. That's a challenge. They asked me to do this.
Nagito.
Shameless plug.
Wow, I don't know. I like a lot of the characters. Let's poll the audience. What's your favorite and least favorite character? Yeah.
So my favorite is actually a tie between Peko Pekoyama and Hifumi Yamada. Because
Okay.
I'm a weirdo. My least favorite is Monokid.
Yeah. With the diaper? Is that the one? The pink bear.
That's
with the,
Monami.
That's
Monokid
Monami.
is
Monokid.
Monokid is the V3, the blue one that's got chest hair. I hate him.
I have not.
I love all my children, but not that one.
So, here's the interesting thing about video games. When I record on the Danganronpa games, I have no idea what's going to happen. I've never seen the lines before. Same thing for anime. You don't see the script before you go in. So the first time I'm saying the lines is when I'm standing there in front of the mic saying them, and those are the ones they use in the game. So a lot of time people ask, like, what was your favorite moment, or say this line from this part, and I'm like, I said that? Like, because when I record, I try to like embody the character and really live in the moment. So like recording the first game, I really felt like I was Naegi, like solving these crimes. I had no idea who was going to die next. And it was like watching the game happen, like unfold in my mind. It was really, really fun.
At least you didn't die.
True. Spoiler. So yeah, it's hard to go back and pick one. But I haven't played the games. I haven't gone back and played that. I feel like I would be addicted.
I haven't played them either. I've only seen playthroughs on YouTube.
You
so...
watch other people play the games.
Yeah.
But I feel like I would just not be able to stop.
I mean, yeah, I wasn't able to stop watching Nico V play anything except for V3 for some reason. But so.
I've messaged Nico B
Oh
a few times because people kept bringing me Hope Bagels. If you have no idea what that is, yeah.
That's...
It's a thing.
Okay, I have so much more respect for you now. Just that fact alone.
Just for Hope Bagels.
Just for Hope Bagels.
Okay, there was one and then another one back there. Let him go first. Yes, and then I'll jump back to you guys. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. My question is for your character, specifically Meliodas.
Yes.
Did you immediately knew what voice you were going to give him, or did you have like some kind of test voices you were going to do? And if so, can we hear some of those test voices?
Well, I auditioned for the character, and then I got called back, and then I was cast as Meliodas. And I think when we started the series, I had something that got me cast in the audition, and it wasn't the voice that we went with. I can't remember exactly the sound of that, but I can tell you what triggered Meliodas' voice, and what I have to do every single time I record to get into character. So I noticed that Meliodas does something kind of unique, and I don't know if every voice actor does this, but I have to make the face that my characters are making on screen to get into character. I probably look insane in the booth. So for Meliodas, I saw his eyebrows are always raised really high, so I just tried it, and I raised my eyebrows so high that it stretches out my vocal cords. That's Meliodas. My eyebrows have gotten much stronger.
Eyebrow game. Eyebrow game too strong.
April's voice in the animated series.
Yeah.
He actually.
Are you talking about Robbie Damon?
No.
There's been a few Spider-Mans.
The one that lasted from the
Does anyone know the original Spider-Man voice actor?
Uh,
Google knows. Google knows.
Well, he does that in the booth. He always had like your mic is off. Your mic is off. He said, no, I'm not. It's right here. You put it there.
Yeah.
But it's because when you would get in scenes, he'd be
Down
so
in the
his
position.
mic was like every time that he'd be voicing. So you're not the only one.
I drive engineers crazy. So if I'm in a fight scene, I do this hunch where I get low.
Oh,
And
no.
when they mic you, they want you kind of in a very specific spot. And if you go off mic, it sounds like this. So I'm talking on mic. And they're like, what just happened? So I just tell all the engineers, just like, mic me at my knees. Just mic me on the ground. It'll work. And I walked into the booth one day, and one of the engineers, his name is Ricky, he put one of these microphones in there, like a stand, and it was just like this on the ground. I'm like, perfect. I think you had a question, yes. Yeah. Sorry, it's hard to put. You right there. Yes.
So how did you end up getting cast into the Danganronpa games?
The exact same way that I got cast for the majority of my roles, I auditioned. I auditioned for Naegi, and I actually am the only actor that's in every iteration of Danganronpa. I guess that's a spoiler. So I was in the first game, the second game. The Japanese actress who plays Naegi also plays Nagito, and it was really cool that they wanted me, they asked me to play Nagito and Naegi after they found that out, to keep that the same. And then I was in Ultimate Despair Girls also. Then I saw that the anime was released, and I was like, oh, I really want to come back and play Naegi. And I was recording Attack on Titan at Funimation.
Yay.
I live in Los Angeles. Funimation is in Dallas, Texas.
Wow,
And Attack on Titan was my first audition for Funimation. So I was super excited to be cast as Eren on my first attempt at Funimation. So what I would do in season 1 is I would fly out. I stayed with Mike McFarlane, the director. He lives about 30 minutes from the studio. We would drive into the studio. He listens to metal music. So it'd be like 30 minutes of like, and then for like 8 hours a day, I'd just go as Eren Yeager. So on one of these times, they have these like books with sides in them. So people come in, they grab the book, then they can look through the sides and audition for different characters. So I walked up to the front, and that's where they keep them, and I was just messing with the girl at the front. I'm like, what are you guys auditioning for? And I opened it up, and Naegi was the first character on there. I'm like, they're going to record Danganronpa. I really want to audition for me. So I was really hoping it would work out, and I was on a break, and Christopher Bevins, the director of the show, I was just chatting with him. I didn't really know him, but he's like, hey, you play this Naegi guy in the game, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, want to play him in the anime? I'm like, yep. So literally super high school level luck is the only way I was cast in Danganronpa.
But you're not in high school. It's
That's
super
true.
adult level one.
But my voice doesn't know that.
Your
My
voice?
voice hasn't changed since middle school. So I guess super high school, super middle school level in my case.
Little old.
Yes, we'll go 1 and then 2. Yeah.
Oh yes, I know this is going to be girl. I'm a big fan of Tales. I love you in Tales of Grace, by the way.
Thank you.
Asbel gets a lot of flack. He always say protect, protect, protect.
Yes, he
Protect,
does.
Protect. Friend, oh Richard, protect, protect, protect. But anyways, I'm just wondering how many times you had to say protect like a lot. I know it's like you had like probably a lot of lines.
Yes, I had 3,600 lines in Tales of Graces, which was roughly 4 months of recording and an amazing time in my life. So first off, the director of the show, her name is Wendy Lee, and she is an amazing director, an amazing person, and an incredible voice actress. So I was already happy going into work, getting to spend time with her like every day. Then I recorded for about 2.5 months. I got married, I went on my honeymoon, and then I came back and recorded more as Asbel. So like every time I like think back to that time in my life, like it just makes me happy. So yeah,
Bell's good. Bell's a good character.
he's an awesome character. I probably said protect about 1,000 times.
He's not like freaking Yuri or any other characters that are brave and they are like so portrayed as the Crow character.
You know, not everyone's gonna like every character, and that's okay. As the actor, like, I don't have much control over what my character does. You know, my goal is to just embody that character and kind of bring them to life. So that's just how Asbel is. He's not everyone's gonna love him, but a lot of people do.
It's like with me.
You hate Nagito.
No, I actually love him.
You love him.
I love him so much. He was the first Danganronpa character that I actually really wanted to cosplay. I have his wig, not his anything else. And I also just texted my Danganronpa panel to come and squad this room. Because we've been talking about, for you, because they've heard about somebody, Danganronpa, coming into a Danganronpa panel and just saying stuff. We've been hoping for like a week to just get you.
I welcome it. Okay, yes.
This is going to be random, but have you seen the Sword Art Online Abridged series? If so, what do you think?
I've had a lot of people ask me about Sword Art Online Abridged, and I have not watched it yet. I did see the Attack on Titan Abridged because people kept asking me, and I'm just like, let's put it on a panel and watch it with a bunch of people. And I want to do something similar to that with SAO Abridged.
Do it.
I'm going to run a stream at some point on the Unlocked app. Does everyone know what Unlocked is? Or have you guys never
I
heard of
don't
it?
have an iPhone. I'm waiting for the Android app.
Yes. So Android is coming officially in November.
If
For you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, I co-founded Unlocked with another voice actor named David Vincent, who you might recognize in Tales of Graces as Richard, and in Smash Brothers and in a million other things. So Dave and I would go to events like this, and we would be loaded up with all these messages from people like, I didn't get to ask my question at the panel, probably because I talk too much. I couldn't get into your autograph line because it was capped, or I live in Australia, or I live in this city, when are you coming to my town? And it was impossible for us to keep up with that, with all those messages. And we didn't want people to feel like we were ignoring them because that's not our intention. We just could not keep up with all the messages. So we looked for a solution and we couldn't find one. So we set off to create a solution for voice actors and actors and cosplayers and everyone who's in the Comic-Con community. And Unlocked is our solution. So it's really, really awesome. I've met people on Unlocked and then met them in person and felt like I've been friends with them for a long time. It's just awesome. You guys should definitely check it out. Android is coming in November. The community is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. There's a lot of great people involved, so I'm really excited about that. And my plan, to get back to your question, this is what I always do, by the way. I get a question, I talk about something else, and then I'll find my way back. So I've talked to the guys from Something Witty. They're actually on the Unlocked app, and we're planning some collaboration at some point in the future when a specific feature hits the app that I'm not going to tell you guys about, but it's definitely coming, and it's going to be amazing. So when that hits the app, we're going to do something around SAO Abridged, and it's going to be really fun. Okay, I'm going to keep working my way back. Yes? Yeah?
Every convention he's gone to, which one's always the cosplay you always see like in every convention?
Which cosplay do I always see?
Yeah.
Man, I've seen a lot of great cosplay.
What's the type of cosplay you always see every
Have you ever seen a Chloe?
It always changes. Yes, actually I've seen full Miraculous groups. Like a bunch of the characters, a bunch of the villains. That's always so cool to see the groups like that.
I'm weak for the Akuma type.
It changes all the time. I've been doing conventions now for about 6 years, and they didn't always exist like this, by the way. It's really cool to be inside this sort of like exploding thing. Like now, there's so many more conventions; they're always getting busier and busier, and it's amazing to see the community come together. So it's changed. Like when I first, towards the beginning of when I started this, I hadn't been announced yet as Kirito. And I was at a convention in Seattle called Sakuracon. And Sword Art Online, everyone knew they were announcing the cast, but no one knew who the actors were. And on Friday night, there was this like VIP dinner where people were like sitting down with the actors and you could just hang out. And there was a Kirito cosplayer at my table. And I hadn't been announced yet. They were announcing me on Saturday. So I just chatted with him. I'm like, that's a very interesting cosplay. What show is that from? And pretended like I knew nothing about the character. Like, oh, that sounds really interesting. If I die in the game, I die in real life. Super interesting. What does he say? Wings starred. Wow. And then they announced me the next day, and then he came up to me and he's like, oh, you! But before I got announced, there were so many people that year cosplaying Kirito. Like, every second I would see a new Kirito, and because I was so new to the conventions, I was like, I want a picture with every Kirito cosplayer. So I would go like 2 steps, Kirito! 2 steps, Kirito! And then I think I had about 100 pictures of me and Kirito cosplayers after SoccerCon. It was amazing.
What about Asuna?
And well, they're always with Asuna.
True.
Yeah, of course. Oh, I forgot. You guys haven't seen the first episode of season 3. I was about to tell you a moment that's really, really good. Asuna has this new technology that's amazing. You'll know when you see episode 1 of season 3 what I'm talking about. Okay. It's good. It's really good.
Good.
Teaser. So we signed these things called NDAs, and those are non-disclosure agreements, and that means if we say the wrong thing, they'll sue us. Oh. So I'm like, can I say this? I don't know if I can. I'll just be careful. So I'm always like double checking what I can and can't say. But there's a lot of stuff I want to tell you guys about, including Miraculous. But no, I will not spoil anything. Okay.
Just say one thing.
Towards the back. Yes.
You don't look gay.
Yeah, go 1, and then there's another one over here, and then another one in the back. So 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Ever get tired of the cat pose?
No. Of course not. So, if you're wondering, if you watch a show in other languages, you might realize that English is the punniest language of them all, and I'm the reason. I sneak as many cat puns into the show as I can.
Like with odd.
We can tell.
Yes. You're welcome. Yes, there's another one over here. Yeah.
So we were talking about Final Fantasy IX earlier?
Yes.
If we were to have a Final Fantasy IX remake, what would you be looking forward to the most as Zidane doing that game, maybe?
Well, I have Final Fantasy IX sitting at home, ready to be played. That someone gave me like forever ago. And I walk by it and I look at it and I'm like, I can't get back into Final Fantasy. Because I was a huge like fan of Square Enix and Final Fantasy growing up. So I played Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 3, aka 6, Final Fantasy 7, like all the way through. Like binge, all the way through. And I know if I pick up 9, I will not see daylight. Like I will just play that forever. So
it's fine. Most of us don't see daylight anyways. Look at me.
So I'm scared to do that. You have all the Final Fantasies lined up. That's awesome. So I think if they were to do that, if I caught wind, I would probably not see daylight and binge the whole game first. And then I would know even more about everything that happens in that game. I just want to continue to play Zidane, whatever you call him, more. I think he's a really fun character, and playing him again in this latest Dissidia was just really, really cool. So it'd just be fun to go through that whole journey with him. Because has anyone played Final Fantasy Dissidia?
Not fans of it.
Few people. Okay, so it's very different from the other Final Fantasies, like especially like the side scrollers and things like that. It's a fighting game, so you get to play as some of the heroes and the villains from previous games. They have tons of them, and in this newest version, it's 3 versus 3. Like it's really, really cool. But when you work on those games, like, you don't do the long sort of story arcs. So there is story built into the game, but it's not like the JRPGs with thousands of lines. It's a lot of like, ha! Ha! Okay, great job today. So you don't get a lot of context. So I would be so excited to take that journey with Zidane. I'm really hoping that they do it. A few more in the back, and then I'll work my way back up this way. Yes. Yeah.
So I asked this question to Jeremy yesterday, so I have to ask you. But those bloopers in SAO.
Oh boy.
Hold on, say it one more time. So bloopers in SAO.
How much of it was bloopers? How much of it was actually?
What's something you thought, and how much was the director you directed?
A lot was me. Who's seen the bloopers from Sword Art?
No.
Okay.
I haven't seen
I
the
need
actual
you now.
film.
Most of you guys haven't. I say terrible, terrible things. And if you see the bloopers from season 2, about 80% of them are me. Literally looking up things in Urban Dictionary and fitting them into Kirito's mouth. So they play. So I said this really terrible thing as Kirito, really disgusting thing.
Say it.
And say it now.
Say it.
And at Anime Expo, there were about 2,000 people at our panel, and they played it to those 2,000 people. And I was crying. I was laughing so hard. So someone in the audience was recording it, and they put it up on YouTube, so you can still find those bloopers. But I wouldn't recommend watching them. Go watch them. Don't go watch the bloopers, and definitely don't Google anything I say. Google it. Don't do it. Really. So a lot of the bloopers were me. There were definitely some that Alex, the director, set up. So you'll be like recording a line, and then he'll just swap out the blooper line in there. So you perform it like it's supposed to be that. And they're really, really funny. And really, really dirty. I cannot wait for season 3.
You just want to do more bloopers.
Oh yeah. So Alex was also the director of Blue Exorcist, and in Blue Exorcist, I started this thing called Bad Anime Reactions.
Oh no.
And what that is, for some reason in anime, and I think it's because it pulls the story together a little bit more, you have to make a sound for everything your character does. Yeah. So like, your character like looks to the side and you have to go, like you make these noises for everything that they do. So I would wait for a moment where they were expecting like a, and I would give them a, so the engineer, what they have to do, they're expecting like that much sound, and they turn you way up. The speakers in the other room are super powerful, so they would do that, and I would go, yeah, and the whole room would go. So I just wait until they weren't expecting it, and
You'll wait till that's up. You can hear crickets, and then
There's this one moment where Rin is dialing a phone, and I gave an effort for every touch of a button like this. By the middle of the season, every actor started doing that. Literally 20 minutes of bad anime reactions. It carried over into Sword Art Online too. There's some really good ones. So I cannot wait for season 3. Okay, was there another one in the back? Yes.
Do you know anything about a season 3 for Seven Deadly Sins?
Well, there is definitely a season 2, revival of the 10 Commandments, a true season 2. Netflix put out season 2. which is 4 OVAs. For you guys that don't know what OVAs are, those were usually the bonus episodes that you would get if you buy like the Blu-ray or the special edition release. And they mistakenly thought season 2. And right when that was released, I went to a convention and literally counted the amount of people that were angry with me. Why didn't you want to do more episodes? I'm like, I did! But there were like 300 people that literally said something to me. So now we're finally getting a true season 2. I can say it's coming, finally, in October. They said October 15th. Yes! So we are almost there on Netflix. And they, like, the 15th, like, the whole season will just, like, drop. Like, boom, full season. I cannot wait to talk about it. Cannot wait. So in season 1, I don't know if you guys, who has not seen 7 Deadly Sins? Awesome, awesome. Okay, I'll warn you about 7 Deadly Sins. If you start watching it, you'll binge the whole season. Don't expect to sleep. It happened to me. I started watching it. It gets to the end of an episode, and you're like, okay, one more. And then you go, okay, one more. And then the sun comes up, and you're like, what have I done? It's really, really fun. There's this arc where they are in this like fighting tournament, and they're fighting for Deanne's hammer. And I watch this show in Japanese. I don't normally get the opportunity to do that before I go in and work. But whenever I can, I like to watch the shows in Japanese to kind of know what to expect and learn more about the character. So I was able to do that with 7 Deadly Sins, and it got to this arc, and there's this little referee. He's like yay tall. It looks like a dude with a red sheet over his head, a giant mouth, and a helmet. His name's Lovehelm, and he has the most annoying voice in the show. I instantly fell in love with that character. So I went up to the producer when we were recording, and I said, can I send you an audition for 7 Deadly Sins? And she's like, you play Meliodas, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, just trust me, I'll just send you something, see if it works. And she's like, I guess. So I went home and I practiced this voice. I'm like, I can sound kind of like this guy. And I recorded something and sent it to her, and she's like, I think we can make this work. So I finished recording as Meliodas, and then I got a message. Can you come in and record 7 Deadly Sins? And I'm like, yes, Lovehelm, come on. So I continued to practice the voice. And my booth setup is kind of like this half booth. It's not fully soundproof. So my wife can hear me when I'm practicing in the booth. Oh, no. And right as this happened, she was very, very pregnant with my daughter. No. And I was practicing and practicing this voice, and then she busts into my office and goes, if you do that voice one more time, I'm having this baby now. I was not allowed to practice at home anymore. I'll give you a sample of what he sounds like, and you'll see why. Here's a little love.
Go in.
I don't need a mic because he can't control the volume of his voice. Oh no! Let the fight begin!
And go back out.
Yeah. So I talk to myself as Lovehelm. It's good times. Season 2, really good. I'm not going to spoil it. I have to hold this back. Yes.
No.
Oh no. Just kidding.
Right there.
Yes.
How did you feel when you got cast?
You know, when the show was first starting, I didn't know much about it. It looked interesting. The animation was beautiful. I liked the characters. I liked the concept of the show. You know, it's cool to be part of a show with a strong female superhero. Like, it's something that I'm excited for my daughter to watch. So it was great to be a part of the show, but I had no idea if anyone would watch it. And it very quickly got picked up by Nickelodeon, and it was just exciting, really exciting to be something like that. Never would have guessed it would have gotten to the point where it is today. So it's really cool to continue to play the character and to see them, you know, continue to develop the story in the way that they have, and just to see the reaction of the community is probably the coolest part.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm working my way forward. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I pointed at multiple people. Yes, let's go there.
Sorry,
Yes.
I just had a question. First of all, I love that story you mentioned about Ren and the
I have fun in the booth. It's
I guess
really fun.
I wanted to know if you had any other like favorite memories, like during your recording of Blue Exorcist, whether it was in season 1 or season 2.
I mean, a lot of good memories. So Rin to me is such a great character. You don't get opportunities to like go through the gambit of emotions in one line. Like Rin will be happy, then angry, then sad, then happy again, like all in one moment. So it's really, really fun to play him. Also, like, I literally do nothing with my voice. I just walk in, they're like, let's give you a vocal rep, and it's just me. So like, it's really great to step into the booth and just become Rin. And I feel like when I leave the booth after recording, a piece of my characters kind of come with me. So every time I would finish recording as Rin, I just couldn't stop smiling. Like, it just made me happy to be part of that show. So like, when the movie came back, like, it was just like such an amazing present, and then season 2 happened, and it was just so much fun. So it's hard to nail down just like one good memory, but I think just the entire experience of going in and being part of the show is my favorite part.
That's awesome. No, I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, I really hope we get a season 3. Okay, I'm gonna try to go to people who haven't asked a question. Yeah.
What character's personality do you think you go along with most?
Like that's closest to my own personality? Yes. I think Rin when he's happy. Like, I really do appreciate like little things, and I feel like Rin's the same way. Yeah, I think I'm pretty close to him. Like, it's a lot of me that comes out when I play Rin.
You're the half son of Satan.
Pretty much. When he's not in angry mode. When he's happy.
When he's not angry boy.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Oh, me? Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you.
Out of all your characters, who would be the worst and best roommate to have?
The worst
Not
and
the one with
best
the boys that
roommate.
don't make anybody have a baby.
Yeah, not him. I wouldn't want to live with love help. Oh, no. I mean, there's a lot of bad roommates. Aaron Yeager would be a terrible roommate.
Oh, God.
He would be horrible. Adrian would be... Actually, could I live at Adrian's house?
Yes. You wouldn't be allowed to leave.
Because, oh, that's true, you couldn't leave the house.
Do you remember his nightmare? Do you not remember his nightmare?
Not nightmare, Adrian.
That scene gave my Chloe such happiness, but then because I also cosplay as Ladybug and Marinette, so I'm like, it's my dream, but like,
That should have been a Halloween special.
Aaron would be, I feel like Aaron would be really messy.
That should just be
I feel like he'd break stuff all the time.
He'd break the house.
He'd break the world.
Kirito would be probably a pretty good roommate. Because he'd just be gaming all the time, you'd never see him.
He's a Twitch streamer.
I'm trying to think who else would be just a terrible roommate.
Kamada.
Shiro?
Komaida.
Oh, Shiro would be a fantastic roommate actually because he could cook all the time. And him and Rin are great cooks. So they would be probably very good roommates. Henry from Fire Emblem Awakening. Probably not a great roommate.
He would be a great roommate because he's just boring.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's definitely a good mix of people there. Oh, here's a good roommate. Sultan from Disney Princess Palace Pets.
Oh my god!
So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I play Jasmine's tiger in this mobile game, and he's just like this little baby tiger, and you can comb his hair and give him a bath.
No.
And that's it.
Then he grows
So
up.
I'd just be like my baby tiger roommate that I could talk to.
And then he grows up.
That would be awesome. But he never grows up. I just wait until he just wouldn't grow up. I'd move out by that point.
Go to Neverland.
Yeah.
Is it possible to do the Komaida laugh, please?
Do it.
Sure.
Do it. You might summon my friends.
So, Nagito, he has a very interesting laugh. And it's kind of this like hazy, wheezy, weird thing.
Oh boy.
And it sounds like this.
Be quiet in the room, please.
Yep, there we go.
Yay!
I have something that follows up with that. Can you do your loudest, you've got that wrong, and
I don't do it super loud, but this is what it does.
No.
You got that wrong!
No, do it as loud as you can into the microphone. I want to see if it actually summons.
Oh, it summons
I
everyone
want to see if
outside.
it summons my Tagami.
I'll tell you a fun story about Danganronpa. So, I play these two very different characters, and in the anime, they're kind of in these separate arcs. At the very last episode, they actually talk to each other. So I thought, this is a perfect opportunity for a blooper.
No.
And I snuck this blooper in.
What did you do?
Okay, and Danganronpa was on what's called a simuldub with Funimation, and what that means is they record one episode a week very quickly and release it as fast as possible. So sometimes things go too fast and things slip through the cracks.
What did you do?
So the next day, like it was released very quickly. The day after it was released, Funimation put out a formal apology.
What did you do?
We are so sorry. A blooper slipped through. We've rectified that. We apologize to the Danganronpa community.
Sad.
We are so sorry. And I saw that and I'm like, I am about to get fired. Now, the thing is, they didn't catch my blooper, and it made it all the way into the Blu-ray. It's canon now.
Please.
So what happens is, Nagito reaches out and grabs Nagi's hand, and as they're kind of getting pulled away from each other, Nagito goes, his hands are so soft. And Nagi goes, why was he sticky?
Bryce!
And it's canon.
Yesterday. I think my friends were talking about that yesterday. They're right outside.
And you're welcome.
They are right outside.
So I have about 5 minutes left, so I'm just going to take a couple more questions. Yes?
Me?
Yeah.
In Miraculous Ladybug, I want to know who do you ship most out of the love square?
Ooh.
See, this is a dangerous question. Because there's no right answer to this question. I'm a fan of the entire square. Like, can't we all just ship the whole...
I told you.
I'm in head, so.
I told you, Bryce. I told
Guys,
you.
love the cosplay.
I was trying to get them to someone when you shouted, "You've got that wrong," but no, because y'all were lazy.
I'm not a part of any
Got
of
the
the
lazy students.
So, I ship the whole square.
Yeah.
I think that there's good moments for each sort of matchup, and I like that. I like that. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
But do you actually do it together?
I don't know. I hope they don't get together for a very long time so they keep making more episodes. Because I feel like that's the end of the show. Like, and they're together.
It's
Aw.
5 seasons, so they have to.
So I hope it just takes them another 10 years to get together.
And
Christina and I are, have Kane.
Mike
Claws out.
was out.
We talked a lot about video games, and I was wondering, it's very off topic, but have you played The Legend of Zelda?
I haven't been doing a lot of gaming. I've been doing a lot of talking in video games, a lot of recording, a lot of conventions, and actually, what I'm working on the most is Unlocked. I don't know if anyone out there is a business owner, but a tech startup is extremely time-consuming, but extremely fulfilling to see something come to market. So I've really been working pretty tirelessly on the app. So it's taken a lot of the time that I would normally spend gaming away. I also have a 3-year-old, so any moment that I'm not working, I try to spend time with family. So I'll wait until she gets a little bit older, and then we'll probably play games together.
Play Pokemon.
Okay, I have time for maybe 2 more questions. I'm going to try to get people who haven't asked a question in the back. Yeah. Spoiler. I actually blew my voice out. Yeah, no joke. Like, I was going to a convention the next day, and I showed up. I'm like, guys, I just. Anyways. But yeah, I thought it was pretty epic. I wish that didn't happen, but it's, it was cool. So, has anyone seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Oh,
awesome.
Boy.
So for you guys who haven't, I'll just describe my character.
He's muscular, he leans back and he poses.
There we go. I play a lot of like young heroes, because I mentioned my voice hasn't changed since middle school.
Yeah.
But Caesar, I got to use my man voice. He's this burly Italian guy who shoots bubbles. Yeah.
He's the bubbler.
And when I got the audition, I was watching Family Guy. I'm a big fan of the show. And it was an episode where Peter was pretending to be Italian, and he did this like, boop-a-da-bop-a-da-beep, and that's what I did in my audition. And they're like, that guy! So, it's Family Guy inspired Italian, which is really, really funny.
How did that get...
It was super fun playing Caesar. So yeah, I mean, it was an epic moment. So cool to do that, but disappointing that I didn't get to continue. Okay, I got time for one more. Right here, yeah.
What are the most difficult vocal tones to do for you?
Well, screaming in a number of different ways. I tend to play characters who yell. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Eren Yeager speaks in Scream. Kirito speaks in Scream. Reno Kumura screams a lot.
Adrian has a scream moment.
Adrian screams a little bit. He's not too bad compared to those other guys who need to calm down. And actually, there's a show that I recorded for about a year. It's called Twin Star Exorcist, another Exorcist show.
I might have heard of it.
I play a character named Rokuro. Highly recommend. This show is so awesome. I'm not just saying it because I'm the lead or one of the leads of the show. It's really good. Cassandra Morris plays Benio, who's the other lead. The cast is really awesome. But every episode that he fights, which is a lot of episodes, there's these moments where like the picture is drawn of his face and like the lines are like skewing his face because he's screaming so loud. He's just like, ah! Like forever. So I screamed for a whole year as Rokuro.
Oh my God.
So I hope you guys watch it. It's on Funimation now. It's really good. Yeah, check it out. It's super fun. So there's moments in like for Sword Art Online. Kirito has very specific screams. Like when I watched the show in Japanese, Mr. Matsuoka like gave me like the chills. Like I got goosebumps in episode 1. And our goal was to have that same effect happen when you heard the scream. So we would say 15 minutes of every session just to scream. And I would scream over and over and over until we finally got that one magical one that went into the show. And I could barely talk after. For Eren Yeager, like, Attack on Titan is just this grungy, dirty, nasty show.
It's just full of naked people eating smaller people and screaming.
Giant naked
It's
people.
boring.
So, when I was a fan of the show, I watched the entire show as it was released in Japanese. I just wanted to be a part of the show. I would have been happy being a guy who gets stepped on by Titan. Like, I just wanted to be a part of it. So it was, like a dream job to play Eren. But I hoped that whoever was directing wanted a nasty sound for the character. Like this, I was hoping that he wanted it to sound like there was blood in your throat when there's blood in Eren's throat. So normally when you're recording, like, you clear your mouth out, you drink water, you like swish it around your mouth, you try to get those like click sounds away from it, but you do the opposite in Attack on Titan. Like you try to make it sound nasty. And
the worst ASMR.
He didn't want Mike McFarlane, the director of the show, who's still directing the show. didn't want us to hold back. And if you guys don't know who Mike McFarland is, he's Master Roshi in Dragon Ball Z. I grew up being a huge fan of Dragon Ball Z, literally being directed by Master Roshi. And if you guys don't know Dragon Ball Z, they scream for like 2 episodes straight. Powering up for like 30 minutes at a time.
I mean, in that time, they could just get
You cannot complain about screaming to Master Roshi, so I didn't hold back. And
oh boy.
It was pretty gnarly. I did. Don't hold it back. But there's definitely there's moments in Attack on Titan where I've physically gotten into the show. Like there's a moment where Eren bites his hand in season 1, and I bit my hand so hard that it left bruises.
Ow.
But it sounds so good. In season 2, there's a moment where Eren is really particularly unhinged, even more than before, and I literally unhinged my jaw. And the problem with that is I bit my tongue. But the next moment, Eren was literally spitting blood, so it sounded so real. I was recording that, and Mike's just like, oh, that's a keeper. So those are probably the moments, those screams, as some of those characters are super vocally stressful. But it's what the shows deserve, and I'm happy to go through that suffering for the art. And I'm proud of what's come through and what's come out of that, and I hope you guys have enjoyed watching. Well, thank you guys so much. This was a really fun panel.
Yes, it was. Thank you so much.
I'm going to be heading back to my table if you guys still want to grab an autograph. If I didn't answer your question, please come back, ask away. I'm happy to just hang out and chat. Or catch me on Unlocked. I'll definitely be streaming there sometime soon. Probably streaming also. Thanks, guys. Have fun.
Thank you. It's fun. Awesome. Enjoy your time here.
Get